While plenty of mysteries have long histories, or even date back to ancient times, there are many mysterious, unexplained things happening every year. Some of the more recent mysteries are even more puzzling, as we wait for answers to these strange events. Number 5. On at least 4 occasions in the past 2 years, a mysterious flying object has drawn the attention of pilots and air traffic control teams around the Los Angeles airport area. The object has been dubbed the Jetpack Man or Iron Man, but explanations for this strange phenomenon are still varied. The first sighting of what would become known as Jetpack Man occurred in August of 2020, when an American Airlines pilot on approach to the Los Angeles International Airport spotted a strange object. He described the object to air traffic control as a guy in a jetpack about 300 yards away and at their altitude. This would have placed the object at about 3,000 feet in the air. A pilot on a different plane also confirmed the sighting. There are a number of advanced jetpacks with the power to reach 3,000 feet and above, but getting that high would require a large amount of fuel, and most jetpacks used for tourist attractions stay within a few hundred feet of the ground. So it was even stranger when in October, a China Airlines pilot reported an object that looked like a flying suit jetpack at about 6,000 feet. In December, the first visual images of what could have possibly been the mysterious Jetpack Man were released. A flight academy posted a short video to its Instagram account of what resembled a human figure flying off the coast of Palos Verdes. The figure is at a distance, so it makes it hard to make out any details. The person doesn't seem to move their arms or legs, but is moving at some speed, and zoomed-in shots of the figure do make it seem as though it has something on its back. This was the last sighting of the Jetpack Man for many months, and for a while it seemed like the mysterious figure may just have been another weird thing to come out of 2020. Speculation at this point included a strange publicity stunt that nobody wanted to claim after they realized how much trouble they could have gotten into, or it could have just been a drone of some kind. Then, in July of 2021, the pilot of a Boeing 747 reported that Jetpack Man was back when he reported the unidentified figure at 5,000 feet. When the Jetpack Man first appeared, air traffic control and pilots seemed somewhat bemused, though obviously concerned. But by now, the controllers sounded frustrated, which is understandable given how much danger an unidentified craft is at an airport. In November, evidence of a new theory came forward. Police in October of 2020 had actually recorded footage of a Jack Skellington balloon floating over the Beverly Hills area. The footage was released more than a year later and did resemble what pilots were describing. If the mysterious figure was just some sort of balloon, it does beg the question as to why this phenomenon isn't reported elsewhere. The FBI and other agencies investigating the case still haven't been able to say for certain that the LAX reports weren't of an actual person or an object being controlled by a person. They're still working to get to the bottom of this mystery. Number 4. One of the more bizarre mysteries of recent years concerns a strange soda machine in an otherwise ordinary neighborhood in Seattle. The Capitol Hill Mystery Soda Machine has resided outside of a locksmith's building in the Capitol Hill neighborhood of Seattle since at least 1990. It looked like some sort of time capsule, having barely changed in the decades since it's been standing there. Even the prices remained cheap. For most of its history, the price of a can of soda remained 75 cents. That went up to $1 when a sugar tax was passed, but still remarkably cheap compared to most stores. But the main attraction of the machine wasn't the cheap prices, but the mystery buttons that would dispense cans of rare sodas that were hard to get elsewhere, or that were out of circulation. There was no vendor's permit for the machine, and nobody knew who stocked or operated it. It drew power from the locksmiths, but they claimed to have nothing else to do with it. The mystery surrounding the machine made it a local legend. Then in 2018, it suddenly disappeared. It was June of 2018 when the machine vanished, leaving behind a note to say that it had gone for a walk. This was shortly before redevelopment work on the street, so many speculated that it may return when work was complete. The work finished in December, but there was still no sign of the machine. The machine's social media page remained active, and soon a photo of the machine was posted at the base of the Space Needle. But when local news reporters went in search of it, it was nowhere to be found. Since then, the machine's social media team has posted photoshopped pictures of the machine at various landmarks, but offers no hints as to why it's gone on this strange adventure, or if the mysterious machine will be back to Capitol Hill at any time. Number 3. The Gatwick drone mystery is one of the most perplexing aviation mysteries in recent years. In December of 2018, the busy London airport was closed for more than 30 hours after sightings of drones which seemed to be tormenting staff. No photos of the drones were ever taken. Nobody was ever caught. To this day, there's doubt from the general public whether there was even a drone at all. It started with one sighting from an airport security officer as he left work for the day at 9 p.m. on December 19, 2018. He spotted 2 drones while waiting for the bus. One seemed to be hovering over a vehicle inside the airport complex, while the other was by the perimeter fence. Given how dangerous this could have been, he contacted the control center, and within minutes the runway was closed. Police and security officers searched the airport. Photographers and local news crews showed up to try to report on the events. Thousands of passengers waited for news on whether they would be able to go on their Christmas holidays. Some of the police officers reported seeing drones, but they were never able to get their hands on them. At about midnight, there hadn't been a reported sighting for about an hour, so the airport started to open the runway again. Given that the battery life of commercial drones rarely lasted more than an hour, it seemed realistic that whatever was there was gone. But when they tried to reopen, the drones reappeared again. This happened over and over again throughout the night. Whoever was responsible for the attack, they had sophisticated equipment, knowledge of the airport layout, and a lot of time on their hands. It was speculated that this might have been an environmental protester or a disgruntled employee, but in the wake of recent attacks, including in Manchester of the previous year, there were fears that this might have been something much worse. The process continued until the runway finally reopened at about 6 a.m. on the 21st of December. This marked the 10th appearance. An investigation costing €800,000 was launched. Hundreds of people were interviewed, and 115 credible sightings were recorded. 2 people were wrongly arrested, but nobody was ever charged with the attack. Given the number of witnesses, it seemed likely there was something in the air. But about a week after the incident, the Sussex chief constable revealed that police had had their own drones in the area, searching for the trespassing aircraft. This led many people to believe that what was really being reported was police drones. It seems strange the police wouldn't have been able to recognize which sightings corresponded to locations where their drones were, and they continued working under the assumption something hostile had been at Gatwick Airport that day. The investigation closed in 2019 after the case went cold, and it seems unlikely we'll ever get a conclusive answer about this strange mystery unless someone comes forward with new evidence. Number 2. Robbie Gallagher disappeared from the Hawaiian island of Oahu in November of 2020 and hasn't been seen or heard from since. The circumstances of Robbie's disappearance are extremely worrying and strange. The last confirmed sighting of Robbie came as he tried to break into a house near a medical center where he had tried to get treatment, though there have been dozens of reports from all over the island in the months since. Robbie was 31 years old at the time that he disappeared. He grew up in San Diego, but loved surfing and swimming. After graduating college, he moved to Hawaii. He was still in regular contact with his family, including his brother, who worked at the same company as Robbie, but lived in Colorado. He also briefly moved back to San Diego after his father passed away, but it wasn't long before he couldn't take San Diego anymore and moved back to Hawaii. The COVID-19 pandemic had a significant impact on Robbie's mental health. Though he lived with roommates, the isolation hit him hard, and the fact that state laws meant he couldn't go surfing for a while was extremely tough for him to deal with. Robbie's family continued to speak with him over the phone and encouraged him to seek help, but it was hard to be too much help when he was so far away. The last time Robbie's family spoke to him was on October 31st, and they couldn't have expected that he would vanish in a matter of days. Robbie was seen behaving erratically on November 2nd. What exactly he was doing isn't known, but he was picked up by police. They asked him if he wanted them to take him to a medical center, and he agreed. He was dropped off at the Kahuku Medical Center in the north part of the island. He waited there for a while, but left before getting treatment. The last confirmed sighting of Robbie was at a house nearby, where he was trying to gain access. It's not clear if Robbie had any connection to the house, but he apparently didn't get inside. His body surfing fins were left behind though, confirming that this was Robbie. When Robbie's family couldn't get a hold of him, they traveled to Hawaii in search of him. Dozens of tips came in, reporting Robbie all over the island. His phone was on the side of the road 20 miles from the medical center, but sightings have placed him at other locations as well. However, none of these sightings have been confirmed. It's easy to assume the worst given Robbie's mental health, but there are a number of strange aspects to this mystery. He apparently had surfing equipment with him, or at least at one point had the fins before leaving them behind at the house, so he may have intended to go surfing. If he was planning the worst, why try to gain access to this house? And have any of the sightings actually been of Robbie? In this unsolved case, there are definitely more questions than answers. Number 1. Around 200 people working around the world have suffered symptoms of a mysterious illness the US government is working hard to uncover. Havana Syndrome, as the phenomenon has been dubbed, has affected US diplomats, members of the CIA, and their families in countries as far away and different as Cuba, China, and Australia. Even people working in the US Capitol don't seem to be immune to the effects. Why they are falling ill and who could be behind this mysterious illness remains unknown. It started in Havana in 2016. A number of US and Canadian diplomats reported hearing a strange grating noise followed by a feeling of pressure. The symptoms varied from person to person, but vertigo, vision problems, hearing problems, and a difficulty concentrating were all reported. The FBI and CIA both investigated the incident. While officials publicly said that they weren't accusing Cuba of any involvement, the possibility that some kind of microwave weapon could have been being used was put forward. For a while, it was thought that this was an isolated incident in Cuba. If that was the case, it could have been possible that this was a strange natural phenomenon. But then diplomats in China reported the same symptoms. One diplomat said it sounded like marbles hitting the floor, and this was followed by extreme headaches and sleeplessness. His family also experienced the same symptoms. The US tried to keep a lid on the strange illness, but did begin evacuating citizens from China. In 2019, staff in Washington, D.C. were hit as 2 White House staff members reported sudden sickness in 2 separate incidents. One also reported a tingling sensation on one side of her face. Scans would later find that those suffering from Havana Syndrome showed significant brain trauma. As more and more countries report sufferers of this strange phenomenon, they need to get to the bottom of what's causing this, as it's becoming more and more urgent. The leading theory is that some kind of microwave weapon is being used. Scientists in the United States have claimed that they've worked on something similar, but research into the project was dropped due to ethical concerns. However, they pointed out that places like Russia and China may have not had such ethical issues. Alternatively, some kind of pesticide or psychological issue has also been suggested as possible causes for this strange mystery. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you liked this video, be sure to hit that like button. Also, don't forget to subscribe and click that notification bell to keep up to date with all of our future uploads. But I've been Ty Knots, and I'll catch you guys in the next video.